Okie dokie. So this week we'll be going over basic view tools and plotting. Okay, I did go over a little bit of plotting previously, but I'm going to go a little bit more in depth on this one. So since I'm just going to be looking around, okay, if I were to pan around here, there's nothing in my drawing right now except for this little point right here. This is the origin, and that doesn't really help me if I'm trying to zoom in or out. So I'm going to draw a little rectangle. Okay, I'm going to give it some dimensions here and make it a 4 by 2, and then I'm going to put a circle inside of it using object snap tracking, then maybe ½ inch radius. Okay, so whenever you see this little hand pop up, okay, that's panning around. Okay, I'm using the middle mouse button on my mouse, the scroll wheel. On other mice, it clicks. Okay, most scroll wheels will click, and that's what you can use for the middle mouse button on any mouse. Okay, sometimes you'll hear me call it the clicking on the scroll wheel or using the middle mouse button, but I refer to the same thing. If you roll the scroll wheel forward or backwards, that's zooming in and out. Okay, one thing about AutoCAD is that it will always zoom to where the cursor is. So if I have my cursor near the top right corner of this rectangle and zoom in on it, okay, it focuses on where my cursor is. Same thing with zooming out. It tries to keep my cursor in the exact same spot. Okay, you can use this to pan around. However, zooming in and out constantly might give you a little vertigo, so be careful about that. Another thing you can do, if you double click the scroll wheel, okay, that zooms to extents. Okay, it'll zoom to everything in your drawing. There are other ways you can zoom around and stuff too. The book will go over in more detail, but it's the zoom command. Zoom. Okay. Then from here we can select different things, like we can zoom to a window, we can zoom to an object, like if I want to zoom to the circle in the middle. Okay, I select the object and press enter. Okay, now it's zoomed to the circle. If I repeat the command, okay, I'll right click here and select repeat zoom. Okay, there's other things you can do. You can center the zoom. Okay, if I'm zoomed out here somewhere and I tell it to center the zoom, say on the center of this circle. Okay, enter magnification or height. Okay, so I have defined the center of my zoom. Now to define the height of the view plane, or what I'll be seeing, I'm going to say 4 for the height of the zoom. Okay, it centers the zoom on the circle and then fits my display height into 4 inches. Okay, from top to bottom of my display is now 4 inches. So that's not bad. Okay. Let's see. Another way you can get to those, okay, if you use the View tab here on the ribbon, over here, Navigate 2D Group, you can use these various zooms here. Okay, zoom in and out, object, or zoom to object, zoom center. A lot of these are pretty self-explanatory. You can play with them if you like to. The one that I use the most is zoom to extents by merely double-clicking the mouse wheel, which y'all might have noticed that already. See, there's also the pan tool up here as well if you want to use that, or just by clicking the middle mouse button. Also, on the right side of your display, you should see some tools that look pretty much the same as the Navigate 2D group. So, let's see, what else do we have? Well, we got this View Cube. Here's what this is called. However, other than pressing in the middle of it, everything else has to deal with 3D, and I suppose we'll get to that next semester in CAD 2, unless you happen to take one of your EG courses. Get to that before I do, but that's fine. Okay. Plotting, right? Okay, this week's assignment goes over plotting mostly. That's what I grade you on anyways. Okay, because it's kind of a simple drawing. It's a handful of circles and a rectangle. Okay, so plotting. There's a couple ways to get to it. I like the button at the quick access bar up the top. That's what I like. You can also use the application menu or type in plot. Okay, so I've already gone over a little bit on how to plot to PDF, right? Okay, and since this is an online class, it's the only type of plotting I want you to use, because I can't really view much else, aside from like JPEG or PNG. Okay, whenever we select the DWG to PDF plotter, okay, if we go to paper size, we can change what size of paper it simulates. Okay, there's a lot of types of paper that we can use. Typically, though, we just use the ANSI A or expanded A. It's kind of whichever. Okay, so that's not too bad. Then we have a few other things, though. See, plot scale. One of the things on the assignment that you have is that it must be plotted on 1-to-1 scale, which means turning off fit to paper, changing the scale to 1-to-1. Okay, that's what it needs to be. Okay, if you plot your display may be kind of outlandish and stretched out far, and that's not going to look very good. So if we're going for a scale plotting, it's best to do zoom to extents. Now you may notice also up here, this the paper preview shifted. Okay, the printable area changed. Okay, because our extents is going to be that little 2x4 rectangle. That's what it's going to be. That's nothing's farther than that. So instead of making it all the way in the bottom left-hand corner, I'm going to click Center Plot, or Center the Plot, okay, under Plot Offset. So if I preview it, my plot is right in the middle of the file. Not bad. It's exactly what I'm wanting. So I'm going to right-click here and just say Exit, and then I'm going to hit OK. So then I'll save it. And here it pops up. Okay, that's not bad. So I'm not going to teach you how to use Adobe Reader, because hopefully that's self-explanatory. But you also don't need to use Adobe Reader for this class. You just need to be able to plot to it. And that is what I'm covering in, I guess. So, cool. Hope you all do well on your assignment.